Well, here we are. We're at the last week of the season. Season's almost over. The year is just about over. It's all about endings. But maybe it's about new beginnings. And much to the chagrin of Crafty, we have like 16 beginnings on this show. So strap in, because we got another one here, Crafty. And welcome everybody to the countdown right here on Stated Sports. Boy King hanging out with here on this Tuesday evening as we're getting ready for the penultimate countdown, the next to last top 12 power rankings of the 2025 season. Obviously, the last ones are going to be coming in 2026, but it's still the 2025 season, so that's what it counts as. So that's just what we're going to do. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like any part of this channel, the live streams, the countdown, the Friday forecast, me in my beautiful face, me yelling at Pepper Jack every time she comes to the kitchen, be like, "Hi, Pepper Jack." Not yelling, but you know what I mean. I always shout out to Pepper Jack when she comes in here. Anything that you like about this channel, please hit that like button, hit that share button, share us to the world, let everybody know that we exist. That certainly helps us out. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell as we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers and hopefully being monetized on this great and glorious platform known as YouTube. If you want to help us out a little bit more directly, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store in the top of the chat and below this very video in the description. You can go check out either of those links. Also, we got our Discord link in both of those as well if you want to come join the Discord community and just be a part of a very quiet, very subdued community. Not a lot of conversation yet. Again, it's very small. We're small. But we're aggressively expanding, I guess. Much like our waistlines during this holiday season. He did the joke. He did the fat joke during the holidays. Yes. Anyway, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for the very last week of the NFL season. And what do we got coming up here? A Saturday. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing that actually was like very interesting to me. Before we get to the countdown, obviously we know that we have the Niners and Seahawks on Saturday night. That's going to be for the number one seed in the NFC regular season championship, if you will. We're going to have that. Obviously, we have the Ravens and Steelers on Sunday night for the AFC North Championship and the last spot in the playoffs. That will be decided that day. And there's a couple other games, obviously, where the seeding can matter and who's going to be placed where and what and how and why and when and blah, blah, blah. But one thing I found interesting is that we all thought, oh, well, it's going to be Buccaneers and Panthers on Saturday at 4 o'clock. That's going to be the 4 o'clock game. That's the NFC South Championship, right? Buccaneers win that. They go to the playoffs. They win a division to go to the playoffs. Hold your horses. Not necessarily. Because of last night, because the Falcons beat the Rams last night, here's the thing. If the Buccaneers do beat the Panthers on Saturday, they'll both have a tie record, I believe. I think they'll both be 8-9. And then if the Falcons beat the Saints on Sunday, due to various different tiebreakers, I forgot how somebody broke it down, but because of various tiebreakers, if Atlanta beats New Orleans, then the Panthers still win the division. Because they would have split on the season. And I think it's either in division record or strength of schedule on head-to-head matchups, whatever it is. I forget the exact tiebreaker. But so we have a situation here where the Buccaneers can win Saturday and still miss the playoffs if the Falcons win. I think that's insane that we're still in that kind of a situation. ELS in the chat, great to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us here. Again, we've got Crafty in here with us. If you are joining us in the chat, don't forget, Crafty brings up a very good point in the chat. If you're joining us in the chat, make sure whether you're on your phone or on your desktop or on, I don't know, does television have the chat? I'm not sure. No matter how you're following us or interacting with the chat, If you're in the chat room, make sure you click on live chat, not top chat, so that you can see all the messages in the chat and that you can there interact with the rest of the Stay Tuned sports community. So there we go. I just thought that was an interesting little bit. So we still have on Saturday, even if the Buccaneers win, we still won't know who wins the NFC South until the Saints and Falcons game. Crafty says, I do love that nobody even considered the possibility, because nobody considered the possibility that the Falcons would actually beat the Rams. I know, we all were like, all right, well, obviously the Rams win on Monday night, so then whoever wins that game is obviously that's just going to be going in. Falcons go, they put it on the Rams, who made a valiant comeback. A couple of questionable calls. I think we can all be honest about that. And came up short against the Falcons. So now the Falcons hold the destiny of the NFC South still in their hands, whether or not they could beat the Saints. But that also was a tall order, because the Saints have been playing very well, as our resident Saint fan Pecan is very excited about, as well he should be. Future looks bright down there in New Orleans. Yes, ELS, I did see the fact that you did mention about my Omaha Lancers in the USHL being in last place in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, your Green Bay Gamblers are number one in the Eastern Conference. Hoity-toity-toity-toity. Whatever. Still, go Lancers. I'll just say that. All right, enough dilly-dallying, enough other small talk, if you will. Enough foreplay. Let's get down to the juicy business. Let's get down to listing, because that's what everybody loves on YouTube. Who doesn't love a list video? Lists or tiers or top tens or shit that I will probably end up doing to see if I can still get more viewers over here. We'll see what happens here. But for now, let's take a look at maybe everybody's favorite thing to do on the internet. Let's take a look at the Booty Cheeks. Booty Cheeks 5, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at who is in the bottom of the power rankings for this week, the penultimate week, week 17, after week 17. Who's in King's Booty Cheeks? At number 28, we've got the Redskins are back down here. The Redskins at 4-12. Again, made a hell of a comeback against the Cowboys, came up short. But, I mean, they're just very injured, very bad. Not the season that they wanted. They never could seem to get either Terry McLaurin healthy. He was in and out. So was Jaden Daniels. They could never get either one of them kind of healthy at the same time. And then obviously we saw the Jaden Daniels elbow injury, and then I think they brought him back for like half a game, and then he got injured again. Really, not great. So it was just not great. And then Mariota's injured, and it's just been a cavalcade of really not great things happening for the Redskins this year. And they've been in and out of the Booty Cheeks up and down this season. And right now, last week before the season, they find themselves right back in the Booty Cheeks at number 28. Number 29. My poor Desert Birds. They dropped to 3-13, and they dropped one spot down to number 29 in the Booty Cheeks 5. Again, they're clearly moving on from Kyler Murray. Are they going to move on from Jonathan Gannon? I don't know. Or is it going to be a complete teardown, rebuild, overhaul? Are they going to be looking to see if they can get up and get a higher quarterback? Are they going to try to trade and see if they can get up higher? Or maybe they'll trade with the Giants. Maybe the Giants will beat the Cowboys and it'll be a moot point. We don't know. But right now I have the Cardinals at 29, down a spot. They're at 3-13. At number 30, my beloved New York Giants, who to a lot of the fan base disappointed them by winning. Again, I bring up the point that the Giants aren't in the market for a quarterback, which is if you have the number one pick, that's really what you're looking at. The number one pick is for a franchise quarterback, for that franchise-changing player. That's what it's almost always used for. We've seen it used in a couple different scenarios, and actually none of those really work out that well. I think about, what was it, the Texans with Mario Williams, and he was good, but he wasn't a franchise-changing player. If you want to go ahead and put it like that. Right now, the Raiders hold that spot because they lost to the Giants on Sunday. So the Giants, 3-13, Some people very upset here in the New York area that they did that. But as I mentioned, football teams don't tank. Players don't tank. Maybe ownership tries to tank. Maybe coaching staffs will try to tank. But players never try to tank. And, again, Jackson Dart played well. And you can see the pieces on that Giants team that can play well. They still need a lot of work, definitely in the trenches and in the defensive backfield. But, again, Brian Burns seems to be the only player on defense that hasn't given up all year and has played every single down. And it showed up. He's got 16.5 sacks this year. So, again, we'll see what next year brings with the new coaching staff and maybe a new general manager. Whatever new pieces we get in the draft, we'll see what happens. But the Giants, 3-13 at number 30, up one spot from last week. And that means, of course, at 31, we've got the Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas at 2-14, currently having all alone with the worst record in the NFL with only 2 wins, down a spot after they lost to the Giants. Again, this team is – the players aren't trying to lose, but it seems like the ownership and coaching staff is really trying to make them lose. They made Max Crosby go into early offseason surgery, which I can kind of understand that as well, even though Max Crosby was pissed off about it and didn't want to do it. He's like, I still want to play. I'm a competitor. He was showing himself playing on a basketball court with his kid and all that stuff. And it's like, I get it. I get both sides of that. Like, the season's over. Stop it. We get it. Go get surgery. Get ready for next year where hopefully we'll reload, have maybe a new quarterback, a number 1 quarterback. Maybe it'll be Fernando Mendoza. Maybe they'll throw a curveball and get Pavia. I have no idea. We'll see. Oh, no, the Raiders, they might trade the goddamn pick. I have no idea. But the Raiders, as it currently stands, at number 31 in the Booty Cheeks 5, and in hell at number 32. Boy, it really takes a lot to outsuck the Raiders. But even with an extra win, this team, it just maybe it's the history weighing on it as well for this franchise. But man, I didn't think there was a way I was ever going to have the Raiders out of hell in the Booty Cheeks 5, and now we've got 2 weeks in a row here where it's just I can't seem to put the Raiders there because the Jets are just that bad. At 3-13, yeah, they have one extra win, but what does that matter when you look at how they're playing football, if that's what you can call it? The New York Jets are just bad. They are just a bad team. It's been a bad year, and one more game. If they go one more game, they're going to have an unbreakable record of going an entire season, 17 games without an interception, with a defensive head coach who was a defensive back in his day when he played for the New York Jets. Just stop and think about that. It's just not good. It's just not a good look. Then again, being the Jets has not been a good look. Honestly, New York football has not been a great look. As we've seen for most of the year, both the Giants and Jets have been, if not permanent, fairly regular residents of the Booty Cheeks 5. Makes no difference here. Giants and Jets still residing in the Booty Cheeks. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your Booty Cheeks 5 for the penultimate Week 17 power rankings. We've got the Redskins at 28. We've got the Cardinals at 29. The New York Gigantes, they're at number 30, up a spot after their win against number 31. The Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas sitting there at 2-14. And in hell, burning away, as per usual, the New York Jetropolitans. So there we go. The Booty Cheeks 5 has concluded for Week 17. Just one more week for one of these teams to maybe claw their way out of the Booty Cheeks 5. I got to tell you, for probably 4 of them, that's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. We'll see. Maybe the Redskins can get out of there. Maybe the Redskins get out of that hole. We'll see. We'll see. But now, we'll see what happens here. Boy, is the chat dead or is it just quiet? Like, I don't know. Is nobody there? Is nobody watching? That's fine. That's fine. You could always catch us later. By the way, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports for the countdown. And don't forget, obviously, no Thursday night game. There is no Thursday night game. So the next time you see me will be on Friday for the Friday forecast, where we will make our final predictions of the 2025 season. on the second day of 2026. So we'll all have fun there. But enough talking, enough jibber-jabbering there in between, just trying to do a little bridge. You know, sometimes communications in radio, in broadcasting, podcasting, whatever it is that you're doing, you like to have a little bridge there. You like to do you have one segment, then you do a little bantering, a little talking there, and you go to the next thing. That's all I'm doing there. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's what I'm doing. But enough about that. Let's go here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get down to it. The brass tacks, as they say. The top 12 for Week 17. We got Connie's 92 in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us there, Connie's. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Stay Tuned Sports. If you like what you're watching, please hit that like button, hit that share button, and, of course, as always, hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And now, at number 12, for the next to last week of the season, I got the Ravens back into the top 12 for the first time in a very long time for the Ravens. I thought they would be more of a permanent fixture here all year. They have not been. That is for sure. And so we have the Ravens at 12. I was really hemming and hawing here about what team I was going to put here. Because I was originally I was really back and forth between either Packers or the Ravens. Obviously, the Packers have one game better. Is it one and a half games better? Because they are sitting there with 9 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie, obviously. So we're saying, Lloyd says, oh, that was my mom. She must have signed into my phone while I was letting her check out videos. Hi, Lloyd's mom. Very nice to see you. Hi, Mrs. Lloyd. I'm such a dork. Anyway. Yeah, the reason I ended up going with the Ravens, number one, because they beat the Packers in Lambeau. So you have kind of that head-to-head matchup, even though the Packers technically have a better record. But right now, I mean, you just look at that game and look what Derrick Henry did. Look how Snoop Hundley performed. Like, they're playing better. And that's worrisome, especially if you're the Steelers. Like, like that's not what you want to go see right there. And that's the thing. I'm going to let you know right now. Spoiler alert, Steelers are not in the top 10 here. It's top 12, sorry. Ravens, they did sneak in. That's where I have the Ravens. They're at number 12, sneaking in. ELS says, why would you put the Packers at 12? The Packers don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be in there. ELS getting angry at his own team. Obviously, injuries, massive injuries, always some injuries. Bad luck there with the Packers. We're going to see what they go. Now, the Packers are already locked in to their playoff spot. They are locked into number 7, so I imagine they're probably going to be resting a lot of players and going into the playoffs and a super wild card weekend as rested as they can be, and hopefully recouping some of their health. Get some health bars there. Lloyd asks, have the Ravens been eliminated? No, they have not. The Ravens win on Sunday night. They win the AFC North and will get into the playoffs as the 4 seed, while the Steelers would be eliminated. Steelers win, they win the AFC North, and they will go in as the 4 seed in the AFC. So it's going to be, oh, wow, my soda can just exploded. That was cool. At number 11, we've got the Buffalo Bills. Got them down a spot to 11-5. At the 11th spot, the Bills, tale of two halves. Obviously, first half, the Eagles, they put up 13 points. Looked like in a very sloppy game. It was very wet. It was a soaked field. The field turf was gross. It was not great conditions there in Orchard Park. And, it's Orchard Park in winter. Of course, you're not going to think it's very good conditions anyway. But that's football, baby. That's football, and you got to play in it. So the Eagles dominated the first half. The Bills didn't get on the board until the fourth quarter. They scored a touchdown, missed an extra point, which would mean so much, because then the Bills later on in the game, with time expired, were able to go ahead and get into – well, time wasn't expired. It was like 2 seconds left. I forget what it was. It might have been time expired. They did get into the end zone and scored a touchdown, but then instead of kicking the extra point for the tie because of the previous missed extra point, and instead of kicking the extra point for the win because they had missed the extra point, which if they didn't do that, the extra point here on the second touchdown would have been for the win, they decided to go for 2 and go for the win, and Josh Allen just overthrew his target, incomplete, And so the Bills, this close to pulling out a great comeback win against the Philadelphia Eagles in a sloppy Orchard Park game, but were unable to do so. And with that, they go down a spot 2-11 at 11-5. Crafty in the chat says, the Steelers failed to eliminate them when they laid an egg versus the Browns. Yeah, the Steelers had a chance. If the Steelers won against the Browns on Sunday, it would have been all a moot point, and the Browns would have, the Steelers would have eliminated the Ravens, and, everything would be more hunky-dory, probably more boring, obviously, for the last week of the season. But a lot of people are saying, a lot of conspiracy theorists out there saying that the NFL kind of made sure, put some right money into the right pockets and told and whispered right things to the right people to say, hey, make sure we have something interesting that we can put on the air for Sunday Night Football. And so there we go. That's a running theory with a lot of people. We're going to see if that is indeed something, or if we get a good game on Sunday night, or if it's going to be a slop fest. We'll see. At number 10, we've got the Denver Broncos up a spot from last week. Again, I'm surprised I even put them up a spot because, again, they barely won against the third-string, practice squad quarterback there for a very injured and a very bad Kansas City Chiefs team. What was the quarterback's name? It was like Quetzalcoatl or something? I don't know. But still, almost lost to a third-string practice squad quarterback when you're supposed to be the best. We're the best team in the AFC. Everybody says we're just frauds, and now we're the best team. You barely beat a team that you should have crushed. Oh, but it's a divisional game. It's a divisional game against a team that sucks. It's a divisional game against a team that sucks. But you never know what happens in the division. Yeah, when you play a bad team in your division, you beat the piss out of them. Look, has anybody said that about the Raiders? Oh, the Raiders, that's a divisional game. What about the Patriots and Jets? Oh, you got to be careful. Got to be careful with those divisional games. Yeah, because the Jets are just putting up such a goddamn fight, aren't they? Look at those Jets put up a fight. So that whole nonsense of, you never know, it's a divisional game. And this team has some pride. Pride may be all they have. But to actually struggle like the Broncos did, and again, it's been something with the Broncos all year long. They can't put together a 60-minute football game. They play down to their opponents, and then they barely beat opponents that are what you would consider maybe they're equal or not. They're winning by hook or by crook in certain situations like that. Again, what else am I going to say? They're the worst 13-win team I ever saw. You could say that all you want. They are winning games, but this is my power rankings. I just have not and cannot buy into the Broncos this year. And they feel like a team that whether it's if they get the number one seed in the AFC or if they end up losing that somehow, some way to the Patriots. And I think if the Broncos lose to they can't lose the division now, right? Yeah, they're the champions. So they might lose the number one seed, which is possible, which is definitely possible. Whether they play in the wild card round or whether they get the bye and play first in the division round, it feels like whatever their first game is will be their first and their last game in these playoffs. It just feels like that. If they prove me wrong, then good on them and shut this fat bastard up. I get it, and that's fine. I have no problem eating crow. I've eaten a lot of goddamn crow. As Lloyd said in the chat a couple times last night, been a lot of crow eating this year by a lot of different people. I'll eat that crow, and that'll be fine. But I cannot buy into the Broncos. At number nine. We've got the Chargers. Go, Chargers, go. Why do I have the Chargers ahead of the Broncos? I don't know. But I moved them down a spot, obviously, after their loss to the Texans, which, granted, that game looked like it was over and done and dusted after the first quarter. But the Chargers came roaring back, had a chance, possibly, at the end of the game to get the ball back with about 2 minutes left to play and see if they could win that game. And instead, the officials decided to make maybe what was one of the worst calls all year. In which case, by the way, if you want to make sure, you can get your Fuck the Refs hoodies and T-shirts over at the Stay Tuned Sports merch store, bit.ly/Stay Tuned merch, or click on the link in the top of the chat or in the description below. Yeah. So that really screwed over the Chargers. Not only screwed over the Chargers, screwed over the Colts, too, because if the Chargers win that game against the Texans, Colts would have been still alive until they lost to the Jaguars on Sunday. But would have given the Colts a chance to still be alive. Instead, bad call by the official, ended the game. So that's why I didn't move the Chargers down further than I probably could have or maybe should have. But right there, that's what I have there. I have the Chargers down a spot at 11-5 at number 9. Let me take a nice sip of my nice sugar-free, or not sugar, it's zero sugar Cherry Coke. That's good, not sponsored. Lloyd in the chat says, boy, that Rams game last night was dumb entertaining. It really, like, these last couple weeks, the primetime games have actually been pretty damn fun. It's been real exciting, real fun watches. I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. And it kind of lets you, that's the other thing too, a little recency bias. Like you start forgetting how shitty some of the other games were that you watched all year. And now these last couple ones have been real good there. We got TJ in the chat. TJ Woo-Wit, from what I can tell, that's how the name is. He says, bear down. As he's obviously, I wonder what team he could be a fan of. Let's see where his Bears place on this list. Number 8, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles, as we just mentioned in the game with the Bills. Bit of a slop fest. They played a fairly decent first half, disappeared in the second half. Always with the Eagles. Same thing with the Broncos. Cannot play a full 60-minute football game. Still have not done it this year. And it's another team, defending Super Bowl champion, but they are really on a very fragile, thin ice when it comes to what I think that they can do or accomplish. And if they get a little bit of resistance from any team in the playoff that wants to like kind of punch them in the mouth first, I don't know if the Eagles have the ability to kind of answer back and answer that bell. That being said, they did get a win in a tough place to play during a tough environmental situation there with the lake effect rain coming off of Lake Erie there in Orchard Park. So, all that being said, credit where credit is due. Eagles did win the game barely, but they did win the game. That didn't stop Nick Sirianni from talking shit, which is just, again, the most punchable face in America. It probably belongs to Nick Sirianni. But moving on from the Eagles, they are number 8. Number 7, there you go, TJ. There is your bear down, Chicago Bears. They're only down one spot after what? I mean, how could you? Like, I was really debating whether I wanted to move them down at all. What a game on Sunday night. What a game. The Bears and the 49ers. Defenses decided not to show up, but you know what? Every now and then, you need that. You need a little shootout power. You understand defense wins championships. We all understand that. But for this, hey, sometimes you just need a good old-fashioned shootout, and that's what the Bears and Niners gave us. Maybe one of the most entertaining games of the year, right up there with Rams, Seahawks, right up there. Again, like I said, the last couple of weeks we've had some banger primetime games. Bears, Niners was no different. Absolute, just cinema. It was cinema. And the game ending in such dramatic fashion. And, Purdy played well. Caleb played well. I think there was a total of only 2 punts or 3 punts in the game. It was stupid fun. As Lloyd had said about the Rams game last night, about it being just stupid fun, being dumb entertaining. That's what Sunday. It was just, hey, I'm going to grab some popcorn. That Sunday night game was the equivalent of like the first Transformers movie. Stupid, but damn, was it a fun, entertaining ride. And that's what we got there. So the Bears only down a spot, and it took a lot for me to move them down a spot. But to number 7, the Bears at 11-5. At number 6, we've got the Houston Texans. They're up a spot after their win against the Chargers. Go, Chargers, go. As the Texans now still alive for the AFC South Championship, as they have made the playoffs after starting 0-3. They've done it twice now in their history. I believe somebody said it's only happened 5 times in the history of the NFL where a team has started 0-3 and made the playoffs, and 2 of those times now belong to the Texans. So didn't start great, but they finished very strong, have the Texans with that defense. Again, kind of that Chargers game was a microcosm of their season, or like in reverse, because they started off hot, they started off great, and then, boy, something happened, and the Chargers just took control of that game in the second half. Texans almost blew it, and maybe they would have, if not for the help of the officials making a really, really, really bad call. But that's what it is. Lloyd says, boy, it was entertaining, sure, but the end, yeah, the ending is what it is. But yeah, when it comes to the Texans, like, again, good win. It was on the road. And now they have a chance. They have a chance. Go ahead and win the AFC South. They're playing the Colts, I believe, here in the last game of the year. And I don't think Phillip Rivers will be starting. It looks like Riley Leonard will be starting. And then, of course, you have the Jaguars playing the Titans. So if the Jaguars win, it is the Jaguars division, no questions asked. If the Jaguars somehow lose the game to the Tennessee Titans, and I'm sure the Titans right now would say there is nothing more that they would like than to play spoiler for their in-division rival, they would love to do that. And the Colts seemingly, obviously, resting Rivers. They might be resting other players as well. We'll see. We don't know. I haven't heard anything on that quite yet. But if they do, like, rest Jonathan Taylor, or if they rest some of their other players, that might be an easy road there for the Texans to blow right by them, in which case then the Texans could somehow, some way, end up as the AFC South champions. But for now, they are number 6 on the power rankings, are the Houston Texans. At number 5, top 5, baby, we've got the Rams. Moved down 3 spots after last night's loss. And again, they made a hell of a comeback, a hell of an attempt, and that catch, non-catch at the end of the game by Puka Nacua, right at the, boy. Ooh, boy. If they didn't have that one camera angle, that would have been a catch. But they just happened to have the one camera angle at that right spot on that side of the field where you saw the ball just bobble slightly out of his hand as he fell to the ground. And it's like, sometimes having all those camera angles is a good thing. Sometimes it's not. Because, boy, I would have loved to have seen how that game would have ended up if we went to overtime or something like that. Obviously, you love the drama of it. Neither of my teams are involved, so I don't care. I'm not a Rams fan or a Falcons fan, so I just want the drama. And what drama that would have been. But again, let's just be honest. If you're the Rams, you can't lose that game. You can't lose that game. I understand that you no longer had the ability to win the NFC West or do anything like that, but you're still fighting. You're still fighting. You still want to show up. You still want to do your best. And especially against a team like the Falcons. Now, because the Rams lost that game, boy, now the Falcons can really just screw up everybody's day, especially if you're from Tampa, because now Tampa can even win the game on Saturday afternoon and still not win the South if the Falcons go ahead and beat the Saints. That is kind of insane. That's a little crazy. And that's all because the Rams, you blew it. You had a chance and you blew it. Down there at the Butthole Dome in Atlanta last night. The Rams down 3 spots to number 5 at the 11-5 record. Number 4, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sitting at 12-4, up a spot from where they were the previous week. They took care of business against the Colts. Not the prettiest game. And we've kind of gotten used to that with the Jaguars. But, especially with Trevor Lawrence, sometimes he'll play great. Sometimes he won't. But as we can see there, with the 12 wins, they're winning. That's what matters. Liam Cohen has taken this team. I think this is the first time a coach has coached a team that had 4 or fewer wins the previous year and has won 12 or more games with them the very next year. So, amazing turnaround by Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars team. They look good. I'm not going to sit there and say they're a Super Bowl favorite. I don't know if I can put them there on that particular category, on that particular pedestal. But are they certainly in that dark horse area where if things go their way, if they can pull games off the way they've done in the regular season, can they get to the AFC Championship game? I don't think there's a question that they can get to the championship game. Can they get to the Super Bowl? I think that's maybe a bigger question we have to ask. But are the Jaguars certainly contenders in the AFC? I think it's hard to say no, especially sitting there at number 4 in the power rankings. At number 3, why is my thing not working? Obey me, computer. At number 3, the New England Patriots. No change. Yeah, they beat the shit out of the Jets, but that's like punching a newborn baby. Like, you can do it, but I'm not going to be impressed. In fact, I might be a little angry about it. Again, now it appears because of that. But here's the thing. Here's not the only thing that wasn't kind of screwed up on Monday night wasn't so much even the Buccaneers' playoff chances and hopes based on what may happen and certain things like that. But that might have killed Matthew Stafford's MVP momentum and given it all to Drake May, as Drake May now is currently the betting favorite to win the NFL's MVP, otherwise known as the quarterback award. And what a turnaround that would be. What was that? This is going to be Drake May's second season, and he's going to win an MVP already. Patriots sitting there at 13-3. Wait, why does that one say 12-4? 13-3. Yes. Oh wait, I have that right. Right? Yeah. No, I have that right. I was just I'm losing my mind. I forget sometimes the numbers. You know what it is? I'm so concerned because last week I had a bunch of the records were wrong. They just were entered wrong. I don't know why. So now I'm looking. I was like, is that right? Is 13-3 right? Is 12-13 there 3 right? 11-5 yeah. But carry the 2. We have the 1. Or this is what happens when you fail math in high school. And boy, did I fail math. Anyway, Patriots, no change. They sit at number 3, 13-3. Now we get to the top 2. We're going to have any changes? Are we going to have a new number 1? Are we going to have the same number 1 we had? Again, last week I think we had the Seahawks sitting there at number 1. We had, I believe it was the Rams were at number 2, yes. And the Patriots were at number 3. Now we know the Rams have dropped a couple spots there. You have the Jaguars there at 4. We have the Patriots at 3. Who's going to be number 2? The Seattle Seahawks. After a win, the Seattle Seahawks drop a spot to number 2. King, how could you do such unbelievable damage to your reputation by doing that, having a team that wins, the number 1 team in the league that you had last week, and you drop them down a spot? Well, I'll tell you why. Because did you watch the game they played in Carolina? Like, that first half wasn't great. Second half, better, still not great. And Carolina, again, they had a chance, but Carolina couldn't get out of their own way. But here's the other thing, too. And I know some other people have brought this up, but it does bear repeating. And again, I like the Seahawks. I am rooting for Sam Darnold like nothing else. I love Sam Darnold. I love to see the redemption arc that he's had. Again, now he's had back-to-back 13-win seasons. I think this is the only him, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. There's like a couple other like Hall of Fame. Joe Montana, I think, was one of them. The only quarterbacks in history that have back-to-back 13-win seasons, 13-plus win seasons. So Sam Darnold, obviously, leading teams, good. His stats, when you start looking at them, very good from both last year with the Vikings and this year. Except for one particular category. And that's the part where I think we have to worry about, and we need to have a conversation about it. Sam Darnold can't stop turning the ball over. And that is a problem. Especially when you get into the playoffs, big games, tight moments, big games. Is he going to turn the ball over? Is he going to fumble it? Is he going to throw a pick, an ill-timed pick? Is he going to have a 5-pick game, a 4-pick game? Is he going to have 3 picks and 2 fumbles? Like, how many extra possessions is the other team going to have with Sam Darnold? And this is, I think, that is a legitimate question to ask because the Seahawks are very good. And when they're running on all cylinders, boy, they are grease lightning. They are. You got JSN doing his work. You got Kenneth Walker running that ball. I mean, they look marvelous. They really do. But the question is, can Darnold stop the turnovers? If he can, boy, I think it's hard to stop the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks have to be one of the teams that you see as an absolute Super Bowl favorite. if he can't stop the turnovers, that's going to hamstring them. That is absolutely going to hamstring them and limit their success into what they can do. He's got to put together a run here where he limits those mistakes. He cannot turn the ball over. And God damn it, Sammy Darnold, I'm rooting like hell for you to do that. But the Seahawks I have at number 2, which of course means that number 1 up 3 spots after their Sunday night shootout performance where defenses were optional. I have the San Francisco 49ers, as injured as they are, as improbable as it may seem. The San Francisco 49ers at 12-4, I have on top. Now I know the Seahawks, they're 13-3. But the Niners also did beat the Seahawks. That was back in week 1. I know. It's kind of weird that we're having a bookend season here between the Niners and the Seahawks. And now we get to see this happening right now, where we have the Niners win. They get the number 1 seed in the NFC. They get the bye, and they potentially never have to go on the road again, as they will play all home games in the playoffs. They're at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, 60 miles outside of San Francisco, where you can't even see the skyline because of the curvature of the earth. They will play there for the divisional round, and if they win that, they will play there for the NFC Championship game. And if they win that, they will play there for the Super Bowl, as the Super Bowl is at Santa Clara there at Levi Stadium. Seahawks win. Seahawks get number 1. And then everybody's got to go through the Pacific Northwest and loud-ass Lumen Field and rainy weather, cloudy weather, probably a little chilly, in the 40s, maybe upper 30s. It's going to be something. It's going to be a test. The Niners wearing their rivalry jerseys on Saturday night. We're going to find out what happens here. If the Niners are real, if Brock Purdy can again lead this team, again, they look the part. They played well, and they had an offensive explosion without Kittle. And we saw that Trent Williams, he went out of the game with a hamstring issue. We don't know how long-term that's going to be. If that's something that they will will they keep him out for this game? Will he be available to go for this game? Will they try to rest him in this game, knowing one way or the other, no matter what, like he needs the rest. So if they play wild card weekend, he's going to need the rest anyway. And then if they do happen to beat Seattle and they get the bye, well, that's just 2 weeks down. He can rest his hamstring. It'll be all right, So I'm not sure. But what a game that's going to be up. Number 1 versus number 2. We had one of these just a couple weeks ago with the Seahawks and Rams. Now we close out the season with another 1-2 matchup to see who wins the NFC regular season contest. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the top 12, the penultimate top 12 of this countdown. This week's power rankings. Number 1, we have the San Francisco 49ers of Santa Clara. We've got the Seahawks at 2, the Patriots at 3, the Jaguars at 4, the Rams drop 3 spots all the way to 5, the Texans at 6, the Bears bear down at 7, the Eagles at 8, the Chargers go at 9, the Broncos at 10, the Bills at 11, and sneaking back in right at the ass end of the top 12, the Baltimore Ravens at an even 500, 8-8. Crafty in the chat says the Bears proved that they can go toe-to-toe. And absolutely. That might be one of the, and again, no such thing as a good loss. I understand that. But that might be one of the better losses that I've ever seen, where you have that, you look at that team, and if you're a Bears fan, you come out of that being like, just one more chance and we'll get them. We'll lick them next time, boys. Like the Bears can go. The Bears can go, and it seems like the Bears are that kind of team that can play any game you want. You want to get down, grimy, and dirty? The Bears will do that with you. They got Monangai, they got Swift. They will run all over you. You want to go ahead and see if you can score a whole bunch of points and have a shootout? Bears seem to be like, all right, let's go ahead and do that. Caleb Williams was making some incredible throws in that game, as he's done all season. He's also made some questionable throws, if you look back at some of these other games that he's had. But he's also made throws that I dare anybody else to try to make. You know what I mean? So it's there. The Bears have it. And like I said, I said it with, who did I say it with? Did I say it with the Jaguars? I think I said it with the Jaguars, where it's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to put them up there as like a Super Bowl contender, but Can I see the Bears in the NFC Championship game? Sure as shit can I. I absolutely can see that. I don't think there's a question about that. I agree, Crafty. Yeah, that last game of the 07 season where the Giants, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to rest your guys. You got to rest your players." And the Giants said, "No, we're going to go head to head and see if we can beat the undefeated Patriots." And almost did. Almost did. And then they were like, "All right, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks." And I'm sure the Patriots probably laughed at them. Said, 9-7 teams going to see us. Yeah, bullshit. I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Sure enough, the Giants were able to do that. That absolutely could be the case there, Crafty. And again, as always, iron sharpens iron. So in that case, seeing the Bears do that with the 49ers, go toe-to-toe with the Niners the way they do, I was super impressed. And like I said, the Bears went down a spot. I really honestly wouldn't have even moved them down, but it just like as you look at the other teams that we have there, it just felt right putting the other teams where they were too. So I didn't want to kind of punish anybody else, as it were, or not move somebody else. Like I do think the Texans should have moved up. But man, yeah, that Bears team is good. That Bears team is good. Yeah, that 2007 season was very good. And Lloyd says, "King, did I see the new Patriots logo?" I did not. The Patriots have a new logo? I'm going to have to go check that out. I'm usually on top of all that stuff, but I have not seen any new Patriots logo. Am I really that out of the loop? Hold on. I'm going to have to take a look here. Let's go to my favorite board. Let's go to my logo board here. Because I don't know if I saw anything about that. So now you've piqued my interest. I don't think I'm seeing anything on that, so I don't know. I think you're making stuff up. Oh, that's their current logo. That logo is, that logo's like 25 years old now. You want my thoughts on a 35-year-old logo? The Flying Elvis? It's all right. I like Pat the Patriot better, but, I mean, it's all right. I'm like, well, Patriots change their logo? When is this going to happen? I wouldn't mind them going to like a modernized Pat the Patriot. I wouldn't mind that, but it seems like they're going to stick with Flying Elvis. I mean, when you win, 6 Super Bowls, play in 9 in a 20-year span, it's going to be hard to get rid of that logo. People aren't going to want to get rid of that logo. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is your top 12 for the week following Week 17. One more week to go. Next week at this time, we will be doing the final countdown for the 2025 season and putting a stamp on who is the final top 12 in the league for 2025 and who will be forever enshrined into the 2025 Booty Cheeks 5 for the season as the 5 worst teams in the NFL. All of that will be revealed next week right at this time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Again, like I said, next time we will see you will be on Friday for the Friday forecast, where we will go ahead and predict the 2 Saturday games and then the entire 14-game Sunday slate. And that'll be the last Friday forecast for the regular season. We'll still do Friday forecast for the playoffs, obviously, where we'll go in depth on all the other games for those playoff weeks, wild card, the divisional games, the conference championship games, and obviously Super Bowl 60. So we'll do all that as well. But yeah, Thursday Night Football's done. No more Thursday Night Football. No more Monday Night Football. None of that. We are all done. Yes, Crafty, next week will indeed be the final countdown. Oh, they're going to get me for copyright if I keep on doing that? Okay, I'll stop. But yes, next week will indeed be the final countdown and we'll get that there all for you. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here for the countdown for this post-Week 17 wrap-up of the top 12 teams in the NFL. If you liked any part of this particular show, please hit that like button, hit the share button, let people know this channel exists. And, of course, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and hopefully being monetized on this great and glorious platform known as YouTube. If you want to go ahead and help us even more directly, we have a link for our donation station and our merch store down in the description below. And, again, donate anything you want. That certainly helps. We're going to be moving over to Patreon soon. I got to set that all up and do all that kind of stuff. But once I do that, we'll have that the donation station will be switched over from Buy Me a Coffee over to Patreon. And I'll let you know when that happens because I know it's the thing we got. The message I got most from the community was a lot easier to do the payments to Patreon than it is with Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee is kind of the pain in the dick. So obviously, I want to make it as easy as possible for you guys. If you want to donate anything to the show, to go ahead and do that. I don't want there to be hurdles for that. So we're going to go ahead and look at doing that as well. So, yes, that is it. So until Friday, until next year, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, until 2026. My name is King. This has been the Countdown on Stay Tuned Sports. Everybody have a happy, have a safe, have a fun-ass New Year's Eve. And enjoy your sliding in, your penetration of 2026. I shouldn't have said it that way. I really shouldn't have said it that way. Anyway, until next year, ladies and gentlemen, my name is King. Countdown, Stay Tuned Sports. Enjoy your New Year's Eve festivities and your parties. Have fun. I will see you on Friday.